as Kevin, let's see the jersey one more time. I know it's a D-Lo jersey and he's out in LA, but
Wolves back,
Wolves
baby.
back. Wolves back. And I will take the L here because when we had the podcast last week, Garry, Toddy, and myself, we made predictions for the remainder of all the semifinal series. I literally hit on every single one. And yeah, it was halfway done. So is it really that impressive? Not really. But I hit on every single one, except I said Nuggets in 7, Wolves in 7. Shout out to Wes. His team is moving on as the Timberwolves. They come back after winning the first 2 games in Denver, losing the next 3. They win the final 2 games of the series for the Timberwolves to move on 4-3 over the reigning, no longer defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets. So Kevin, they lost the defense, so it's over. But Kevin, given your attire, I'm going to throw it to you first, since Toddy's been repping Wolves back for a while now, but because of the jersey, Kevin, I'm going to toss it to you first. What did you think of this series overall?
So there's been a term Toddy and I have been going the past couple of weeks. You got to pay to play. And I think the Denver Nuggets have realized you have to pay to play. I know you hit on the Joker, second round during a Taco Bell commercial. You made the pick. You drafted the Joker Nurkic in the first round. You weren't expecting this dude to be anything. And now you're sitting on a 3-time MVP. We saw Peyton Watson blown come into his own in this playoff run last year. Christian Brown, however you say it, doing his thing.
They wheeling and dealing, Kev.
Wheeling and dealing, and you can see the depth. It runs out. We were talking about it earlier on the podcast. If they don't have those
the 99-cent store,
they're going to have to figure it out because you can't have your 2 guys do it all. They combined it for, let me see, I have their points right here. They combined it for 69 points. They shot 29 of 55, and the whole team made 8 shots and scored 21 points. You need help. And the main guy that I believe deserves a lot of the blame is Michael Porter Jr. You see him versus the Lakers, you're like, okay, we see the college, we see the Missouri, we see the AAU circuit, Michael Porter. This is the dude we came to see. Against the Lakers, he averaged 23 points, 8 rebounds, shot 55% from the field, 49% from 3, and during that series shot 20 of 41. Versus the Timberwolves, 11 points per game, 6 rebounds, 37% from the field, and 30% from 3, shooting 13 of 40. That fall off is horrible. In the second half alone, he went 1 of 5. Aaron Gordon went 0 of 1. The Joker goes 7 of 16. KCP 0 of 4. Jamal Murray 5 of 12. This team has no depth. After those 6 guys come out, it's like, man, are we going to see a DeAndre Jordan signing? Are we going to see this? Are we going to see that? So it was a lot of things to see, but the Nuggets have to figure it out. And keeping this roster and running it back is not going to work.
No, it certainly will not work. And so, Jaevon, I can't tell if you were on Wolves Island the entire time, but you certainly have been recently. And so what did you think of how this series ultimately concluded? Because, Anthony Edwards went 6 of 24 in Game 7, but he found a way. And as he said himself, put Jamal Murray in handcuffs. So what did you think?
I thought, Anthony Edwards is a superstar, top 5 player. You could argue, is he the best player in the world? They just took out. I don't know why you're giving me that.
You cannot argue that.
Argue what?
That he's the best player in the world? What world do you live in?
The world where he just knocked out the 3 times.
So that makes him the best player in the world?
To be the best, you have to beat the best, Kevin. Isn't that what everybody says? It's not insane.
So whose spot is he taking? Please tell me, because I don't think it's an argument.
I didn't say he
said it's an argument though. Is it?
It's definitely arguable that he's
3 to 5. We can talk
in the top 5, the best.
Okay, that's better. That's better. In top 5, you said the best player. That's not an argument.
I said he's a top 5, arguably the best player in the world.
See, arguably, but that's not the right word you should have used.
Okay. Who is the best player in the world, Kevin?
We can say Luka, you can say Giannis, you can say Joel Embiid, you can say Shea. There's a lot of names you spit out before you say Anthony Edwards. But,
okay,
I know it's recency bias. I understand. let's just keep it real. It's stats over politics, Toddy. You know there's better guys.
He's putting up insane numbers at the age of 22. The numbers that he's putting up right now in the playoffs has like never been heard of. It's Michael Jordan-esque. It's no one has ever won. I don't know if anyone's ever won a finals at the age of 22. Like he's creeping into that territory. So
I'm just glad that Kevin didn't say LeBron. I thought he was going to say LeBron.
No,
Go ahead.
It's called stats over politics. They come for me if I said that.
So Anthony Edwards is for sure, I believe, in the top 5. A lot of people could argue that he is one of, if not the best player in the world. I don't think that that's insane to say.
I need to talk to those people.
But you do have a
those people are West. Sorry, Tony.
You do have a Luka Doncic on the other side there. That we'll get into a little bit later. But as far as the series goes, I think this is just the story of Anthony Edwards taking that huge leap from he's a star. They just knocked out, Kevin Durant and that fake super team that a lot of people were talking about, including me, during the beginning of the year. And then it's like, all right, now you're playing the big boys. And they beat them 3 times in their own gym. Like, that's crazy. For them to not win, what is it? They won 3 games on Denver's court, and not to win that many games at home and giving up home court to Denver several times in the series is telling you something. Like, it doesn't matter where we play. We can play anywhere and we can win. So you're looking at, Rudy Gobert not really having to play a dominant big this next series, and he'll kind of be able to anchor and be that help defender, and not really that on-ball defender that I don't think that he's really as strong at as being that anchor backside defender that's able to clean up the glass and being able to, alter shots coming into the paint rather than having to guard Jokic the majority of the series and get cooked like he was for the majority of the series. He's going to be a guy that's going to be the help defender. Guys are going to drive, and he's going to be able to alter a bunch of shots, stuff that doesn't pop up into the stat sheet. But he's going to be able to defend the paint at a high level. And, Karl Anthony Towns deserves a lot of credit. I know he gets a lot of shit from a bunch of people on Twitter, on Instagram, just social media in general. But Karl Anthony Towns balled, I'd say, for the majority of this series. He played really well. I think he's slowly starting to realize that this is Anthony Edwards' team and not his team. But this team as a whole played really well. I mean, Mike Conley, you saw his absence being missed. I believe it was in game 5, the game that they kind of got blown out in. And, their backs were against the wall. And in games 6 and 7, they were able to pull it out and ultimately beat the defending champions and the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm honestly really happy to see the Wolves move on, even though I did pick the Nuggets to win this series at the beginning and in the middle. However, I'm happy to see the Wolves move on. And one of the latest reasons why, as Toddy was alluding to, the what Karl Anthony Towns has dealt with for years, just given his personality and all those things. But I saw a tweet last night, and you guys might have seen it as well. But Vinny Goodwill of Yahoo Sports, he was asking a question while Towns and Edwards were at the postgame podium. And Vinny basically framed it like, you typically in the NBA, you need to lose a lot before you can ultimately win the big one. And then Carl was like, but we lost last year. And Ant was like, yeah, we lost in the playoffs. And Vinny was like, yeah, but usually you do it like at a higher level, like maybe the conference finals. And that's when Carl was like, we ain't losing enough for you. Like, we've been losing for 20 years being the Minnesota Timberwolves. And like, I felt that in my soul as a Sacramento Kings fan. And up until a couple years ago, when this Anthony Edwards led Wolves team started making the playoffs in back-to-back years, Jimmy Butler getting the Wolves to the playoffs was their first playoff appearance in like 15 years. And they had the one playoff appearance in like 18 years until Ant has now led them to what? It's back-to-back playoff appearances or 3 in a row? I think it's back-to-back.
Back-to-back first one was playing.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Kevin. And so I'm happy for the Wolves, man. Happy for all the fans out there. And we'll see how this Western Conference Finals